Well, tourism and economic officials in Arkansas have spent many years trying to convince people to work, live, and play in Arkansas. I'm joined by three people who are working hard on that effort today. We have Stacy Hurst. She's the Secretary of Parks, Heritage, and Tourism. Mike Preston, Secretary of Commerce, and Travis Napper, the state's Tourism Director. Thank you all three for being here today, and welcome to the program.
Thanks, Roby.
Glad to be here.
Let's do a round robin with everyone. Travis, I'm going to begin with you to talk about where we stand from all three of your perspectives with COVID-19, how it's impacting. I don't really want to hear about how it's impacting the offices where you work. I want to hear about how it's affecting the industries that you work in. Travis, give me a little bit of insight. Do you see us in a growth mode coming out of COVID-19 right now, or has this latest surge kind of pared some things back?
Well, it's interesting, and it'll be interesting to see how the numbers play out over the next couple months, because most of our latest numbers are kind of backward looking, dating most recently to May, where we were having a surge in our 2% tourism tax, where March, April, and May were our best March, April, and May we've ever had, and May actually being the best month we've ever had, period. Now, I expect those numbers to continue through the June and probably into July. It'll be interesting to see. In August, that's when it typically would slow down with school going back anyway. But with the surge, it'll be interesting to watch. We have heard, as we talk to our partners around the state, it has, tempered off some, but the leisure has just been so strong through this. And we, as everyone knows, the convention business, the meeting, the corporate is going to be much slower to return. But I think, we've laid a tremendous foundation and been able to expose so many new people within the state to other parts of the state, but also out of state to all the good we have, at least in the leisure side of all we can offer here in Arkansas.
Stacy, maybe a step further too. I know it cannot be business as usual for everything under your purview, which includes tourism and travel there, but also a bunch of other portions of the agency that you run. What is it doing in terms of restricting normal functions? Are you having to create new business relationships? Are you having to create new ways to do business?
Oh, yes, we definitely are. Through the pandemic, one of the biggest challenges for us is to continue to operate, for example, state parks, to operate it in a way that it's safe for our employees, but also for our visitors. And our Arkansas state parks contribute in a very substantial way to our tourism economy. So it was important through the pandemic that we stay open. We never close the state parks entirely. So that continues to be a challenge, but we have risen to the challenge, and we continue to offer a safe place for employees and for travelers.
Mike, has it changed the type of businesses that you are recruiting to the state? What are business leaders telling you they need in a COVID-19 environment?
I don't necessarily think it's changed the type of businesses that we're trying to recruit to the state. It's just opened it up to more opportunities. Certainly during the pandemic, businesses were nervous. They were hesitant to move forward with projects. But as we got into 2021 and a vaccine became available and life started returning back to somewhat normal until we've hit this recent spike, there was a lot of pent up demand. We've actually surpassed our numbers in the first 8 months of 2021 than we did all of 2020 in terms of recruitment to the state. So really, it's a lot of new opportunities that we're seeing. We're trying to factor in how do we account for remote work and things like that. So it really ties hand in hand with what Stacy and Travis are talking about on the tourism side and trying to get people into the state, because now we have an opportunity not only recruiting businesses to come locate here, but people who are able to remote work don't have to live in other parts of the country. They can live somewhere with a great quality of life like Arkansas and still do their job for that California-based company, getting paid a great amount, but living in a place with a low cost of doing business and a high quality of life.
Stacy, the governor created, I believe back in June, the Office of Outdoor Recreation. There's going to be a new director hired for that. So I guess I have a twofold question for you. Have you hired that new director yet? And secondly, what is that office going to be doing that you and Travis and Mike weren't already doing?
Well, we are looking for a new executive director for the Office of Outdoor Recreation. We're very excited about this initiative. I have a stack of about 80 resumes that I'm trying to work through, but we're looking for a great individual who can navigate through a number of responsibilities and sectors and really build bridges within the outdoor economy. So I think that one of the really important things they'll bring to the table is better collaboration across agencies of state government, federal government, but also to grow the outdoor economy through entrepreneurship related to the outdoors. We've seen some of that in Northwest Arkansas related to cycling and mountain biking. And so I think that we will, in working with Commerce and Mike Preston and his team, really focus on growing the outdoor economy. So it's a great opportunity for Arkansas. We've got all of the resources and the tools needed. We're going to join 16 other states in this endeavor to grow the outdoor economy in our state. Very exciting.
Travis, you work with a lot of those businesses. So tell me what the reaction has been to this type of coordination that Stacy's talking about.
Tremendous. I mean, the amount of outreach and questions we've received about what it's going to look like, and while those details haven't been all figured out yet, the reaction has been very positive. They're excited about that. And I was actually at a meeting with a bunch of other state tourism directors just this past week, and there was much discussion about the need to continue to invest in outdoor recreation. And I'm glad that we're able to do that with some of the other states, and to have that liaison between the different departments, the different places out there across the state that range from local to state to federal level will be, a tremendous asset, I think, for all of us, and a benefit down all the way to the citizens.
All right, shifting gears, Mike, I'm coming to you on this question right here. New preliminary census data is out. Not too many surprises there. We saw a decline in rural population, some gains in urban population. Maybe Little Rock was a little bit of surprise in a very good way. Numbers exceeded 200,000 there for the city. How is that going to help and hurt in terms of what the census numbers are showing for business recruitment to the state?
Well, you really hit on it there, Roby. I mean, it helps in the fact that Arkansas is still a growing state. We're not one of the states that lost population, and states that lost congressional seats as a result of it. But we're a growing state. More of that growth has obviously been concentrated in the urban areas of our state, and Northwest Arkansas continues to be one of the fastest growing MSAs in the country. That's all great. The flip side of that is that we are losing population in our rural areas. Some of it's staying within state and moving to more of the urban centers. What I think is kind of interesting is, the census data hits, and now with COVID or post-COVID, hopefully soon to be post-COVID, I think things are going to shift again. You're going to see, maybe less people living in the large, tier 1 cities across the country, and moving to more rural places, maybe smaller cities. And I think that's something that Arkansas can really capture on in the future. As I mentioned before about the remote work and opportunities, people don't necessarily now have to live in the big cities. They just want to go somewhere where they're going to have that great quality of life, that they can have all the access to the things that they want to, have to improve their lives, and then be able to work anywhere in the world. So why not Arkansas, a place with great quality of life and a low cost of doing business and a low cost of living? So I think we need to just, really pay close attention to the census data, understand where we are currently, but realize, let's use that as an opportunity going forward, and use this pandemic or post-pandemic to help those areas that maybe have lost population to continue to grow and kind of keep pace with some of the other areas in the state.
Well, we could do a whole session on when is post-pandemic, because I'm not sure when that's going to happen. Stacy, I think what Mike is talking about folds into another initiative that you're got a big leadership role into, and this is the CY Arkansas initiative. Tell everybody a little bit about that and maybe how that folds in with what Mike was talking about.
Yeah, it's a new initiative for us to invite people from throughout the world really to consider Arkansas as a place to relocate. And we have about $1 million within our tourism budget to devote to relocation, retirement and relocation. So that's what we bring to the table. Commerce, of course, is interested in workforce. And so it's a great partnership. And it started originally as a way to invite maybe a kid who grew up in Arkansas but went away for college, or who went to college here and then left for opportunity, to remind them of all the great things that we offer in Arkansas. That low cost of living, the great access to the outdoors, but wonderful job opportunities here. So that's the creative messaging that we're going to put out there and really encourage people to serve as ambassadors across the state through chambers of commerce, through our advertising and promotion commissions, to really help us get the word out that Arkansas is a great place to live and to work. I'm excited about it, and I think it's a great partnership between our department and Commerce.
Just to follow up very quickly with you, and you or Mike can address this. I mean, we did get some negative headlines out of this last legislative session that turned some people off about coming to Arkansas. How do you combat that?
You know, we got a little bit of pushback from that. Individuals who would send us emails that they disagreed with legislation, but we have not seen it impact our tourism numbers. So I think our positioning on that has been that we are still a very hospitable place. We are still offering a great cost of living. We are very welcoming to all individuals in Arkansas.
Travis, you got some tools from the legislature this year to work with in terms of attracting more people to take part in the outdoors and tourism in Arkansas. You also have the 50th anniversary of the Buffalo River coming up next year. Give me a little preview of what might be in the works for how you're going to use some of these new tools and capitalize on that 50th anniversary.
Well, we are very excited about that, and emailing this week actually with Mark Faust about, setting up some continued conversations about what that's going to look like and how we can definitely help in all the plans they have. I know one of the first ways we're going to do that is trying to incorporate it into our governor's conference on tourism and making sure that there's a component on the educational side, understanding so our partners across the state understand all that's going to be available there, but also hopefully a little side fun trip that people can experience it in such a special year as this.
Why don't we do a panel discussion paddling down the Buffalo River?
I'll
I think it's a great idea.
We just need some satellite, probably internet, to make it happen. I don't know if we're going to have broadband in that part of the state.
We're working on that.
All right, last word, Mike, Preston, coming to you. We always talk a lot about the pipeline and what's in the pipeline. I'm not referring to the Keystone pipeline, although that would probably be something you'd prefer to talk about. What are business prospects looking like right now in the state of Arkansas? Where do we kind of sit in that economic development pipeline that you monitor on a daily basis?
I'm optimistic about our future in Arkansas. I think coming out of this pandemic, we have a real opportunity to set ourselves apart from other states. And it's because of, the work that has been done throughout the pandemic, the leadership of our governor and taking us through this, these tough waters. But I think we're going to be better on the other side of it. And really the optimism lies into the fact that we're seeing our pipeline really increase for projects. Some of that is a result of, like I said, 2020, people really sitting on the sidelines to see what was going on. But with the economy now, roaring back or attempting to roar back, we're going to be in a position to win a lot of projects. We're going to enter new areas. We're going to see emerging technologies. And Arkansas is going to be on the forefront of that. We already are on the forefront of that. Some of the groundwork that's been laid through the governor's initiatives on computer science education, what we're already doing in manufacturing, transportation, logistics, all of these things are things that we're going to capitalize on. And you mentioned broadband. We still have work to do in the state to make sure we're fully serviced across the state. We made significant progress through the CARES funding. We're hoping to make more progress on that as we go forward. We don't want to have any impediments that we can control that slow us down, because the future is wide open for Arkansas, and I feel very good about it right now.
All right, I'm going to zoom in on all those papers on your desk right there. I'm sure there's something confidential that I'll be able to
turn those over or something real quick.
So when's the next major economic announcement in Arkansas? Just tease me with that at least.
Well, if I was looking at my calendar, I could probably tell you better. We've got several good ones in the mix, and just stay tuned. I think as we get into the third quarter of this year and into the fourth quarter, even we're gonna have some strong announcements. September, October will be really good. I'll leave it at that, but we'll be all exciting news to come.
That's all I'm going to get today. All right. Stacy, Mike, Travis, thank you all so much for participating in this. I appreciate your time.
Thanks, Roby.
Thank you.
All right, we're back with more right after this.